So in my prediction video before this, one of the things that I called for from O'Malley was a heavier dosage of teeps in the rematch. It made sense to throw more of the strike that had the most success last time, and O'Malley did throw more teeps, yes. But he actually messed up badly because of how Merab was defending it. So if you don't remember, O'Malley actually hurt Merab to the body in their first fight pretty badly, and one of the reasons why was because Merab tried to elbow block the teep, which was odd because he defended it right many times in that fight by leg checking the teep. I thought we would have seen more of that from Merab in this fight, but instead we actually saw an unconventional defensive tactic. Most fighters in MMA scoop any body kick, but the correct way to scoop it is with the same hand on the other side. So if O'Malley throws a right teep, you would scoop it with your right hand coming across. But Merab actually decided to scoop with his left hand all fight. This is ill-advised because defending this way makes you way more open to follow-up strikes behind it. O'Malley could have stepped in with a punch, an elbow, or set up a question mark kick. The problem was that O'Malley didn't take advantage of that. Like Merab did it every single time, and if you're a cerebral fighter, you have to read that. His corner has to read that. I also called for more knee feints in my breakdown, and imagine if O'Malley actually decided to knee feint. His options would have been way more available and easier. It would have put way more pressure on Merab's defense. Another thing I called for was for more lead hand activity, and O'Malley gave me more jabs in this fight, particularly flicking jabs. So they're not like hard sticking jabs like Kamaru Usman or Sean Strickland, but they were more so smoke screen type of jabs. Jabs that were like quick to try to stop the opponent from attacking rather than doing damage. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't like it. The way he threw them, like he was just leaning in with his head, leaving his chin exposed. He was also standing too tall. Like he was just leaving openings for him to potentially get hit. I wasn't keen on the technique of the jab, and it's a shame because the jab is very important in a matchup like this, and not being able to throw it right is an issue in itself before you can even think about landing the punch. I also called for more shifting twos in this fight, particularly the southpaw ones, since Merab's defense against O'Malley's right hand with a long guard has been very successful. Merab has taken away O'Malley's long straight punches in this matchup, but there is an opening in his defense, and it's the right side of his face. O'Malley did a good job covering ground with his shifting movement, ending with a southpaw too, but in my opinion these weren't as successful as they were last time. Merab was leaping back and staying out of range per usual, and whenever he was able to sense that O'Malley was getting ready to shift, he was just one step ahead and he immediately got up out of there. O'Malley got his attempts at his kill shot a few times in this fight, and if you're wondering what it is, it's the pull counter 2. If you're wondering why O'Malley is fighting so one and done in this fight and cautiously from the outside, it's because he's looking for this shot right here. His entire fighting persona and game plan lies on this one punch. Pulling back, evading the punch, and returning with a right hand. And here's the thing that I don't get. If this is really the case, if this is the shot that he's looking for, why didn't he look for it more? Because Merab certainly put himself in positions to potentially get hit by that shot, yet there were many exchanges where O'Malley just wasn't interested in being second and countering. He was just defending first, and that's where the mental preparation really comes into play, because in order for you to win a matchup like this, you have to take chances just like that. You have to be able to put yourself in danger, and you gotta be able to accept that you can't swim without getting wet, especially if you're having little success being first. Like think about it, if you're only going to throw one teep and one straight punch the whole round, you're not interested in throwing combinations, you're not interested in following up, and the other guy's output is high, and he's gonna take you down and wear you out, why wouldn't you just relentlessly hunt for that shot more often? When O'Malley initiated with the same body twos that he did in the last fight, the ones where there was no setup behind it, he would just throw them stepping into boxing range, almost as if he's reaching for it. This made him extremely susceptible to takedowns, counter punches, etc. In the first fight and even for early moments in this fight, Merab was leaping out of range, breaking distance, and avoiding them. But if you remember correctly, in my last video in the breakdown, I called for Merab to not actually break distance too much and instead actually stand your ground and try to walk O'Malley into something or try to return fire quickly. But because O'Malley was so one and done in this fight, just like how he was in the last one, and instead of breaking distance constantly, he would return fire and counter in combos. You can see when O'Malley throws that body too, he is literally wide open to get hit with anything. And this exposed O'Malley's bad exits where his hands are not in the right spots, his chin is up, he's pulling back. These exchanges occurred solely based on the fact that he refused to follow up and put himself in the line of fire. And quite frankly, I don't understand why he kept throwing these. They do little damage, it's an extremely risky strike, you're not even setting it up, you were honestly just setting yourself up for failure by throwing these. Something that Merab added to the game plan for this fight was more check hook counters. Due to O'Malley's one and done offense, Merab was able to easily find openings to land his offense while defending. Since it's one shot, there wasn't a whole lot of pressure, and he was walking O'Malley into that shot. O'Malley would step in with a long punch and he would just take a short one in the midst of it. Which goes back to what I said earlier about why it's so detrimental for O'Malley to only throw one strike but also not throw it sharply. I was also pleased with his ability to figure out O'Malley's movement patterns because O'Malley is a very bouncy or floating type of fighter where he moves a lot, but when he gets pressured hard, he tends to move to his right side every single time. And Merab was trying to cut off O'Malley with his punches, particularly the left hook. And although he wasn't exactly successful in landing it, it was the right idea and helped him close the distance easier. Some really impressive wrestling work again from Merab in this fight, and his entries were relatively the same in terms of being first. Like I thought a lot of it just came from him following up off of his striking output. Some of them were decoys, so like he'll throw a fake jab or an overhand into a single. Either way, they were all effective. He was able to convert on a lot of his takedowns, and even if he didn't, he was still close enough to really force O'Malley to work hard to defend and reset the fight back to where he wanted it. I thought the entry where he timed O'Malley being second was great as well, really just showing his diversity as a wrestler once again in this fight. But what's even more impressive is his ground and pound game. Not only is this guy active on his feet, but he's also incredibly active on the ground in a multitude of ways. If he has you on your back, he can rain down elbows and hammer fists. But the most impressive thing is his kneeing game because boy is it crazy. This man has crazy flexibility because he was kneeing O'Malley to the thigh, in which we already knew he was going to do. But there were many times during the fight where he was kneeing O'Malley to the chest, like he would have O'Malley in half guard, and he's kneeing him to the chest. That type of strike seems little on pay-per-view, but that hurts way more than you think. And this is how Merab wears O'Malley down. He'll get to these positions like the front headlock and take in the back near the fence, and he won't care if O'Malley tries to get up because he'll just knee O'Malley to the point where he wants to go back down. Like everybody looked at the submission, in which it was a very crafty one, but the work was done beforehand. Like in both fights, if you noticed, when O'Malley got back up to his feet, Merab kneed him to the face to the point where O'Malley had no choice but to take a knee back down to the ground. Like he was able to lift his knee from the ground all the way up to O'Malley's head. Just some insane MMA grappling being displayed. And he broke down O'Malley like he was chopping down a tree. So the question that everyone's discussing right now is Merab the Bantamweight GOAT? To me, probably. I mean, if we look at his performances alone for the first part, I mean, he's either finishing guys, which isn't happening a whole lot, but what is happening a whole lot is the fact that he's been dominant in his decision wins. I think besides Umar Nurmagomedov, every decision win in his winning streak has been like wide decisions. It's similar to Khabib, but Khabib, in my opinion, would strategically break you down on the feet, and then eventually he'll get to his wrestling and hold you down and maul you. Whereas Merab breaks you down by chaos, output, and activity, and eventually everything else in his game just kind of follows. If we're talking about resume, it's close. I mean, I think he could be beat by Dom Cruz by a certain degree just because I think the fighters that Cruz beat were better than Merab's. Like, I think guys like Faber, Dillashaw, and Mighty Mouse are much better mixed martial artists than guys like O'Malley and Petr Yan, besides Umar Nurmagomedov. The gap isn't that wide, but if you compare skill for skill from each opponent, I think Merab could get stumped here. But then again, you can only beat who they put in front of you. You can only fight in the era that you're fighting. And the reality is, if you beat the former champ twice easily, another former champ that was a two-weight world champion, and a dangerous contender that people didn't think you can beat, I mean, what else can you really do? And another thing is like, I think Merab's fighting style is very hard to crack compared to Cruz and Aljo. Like, sure, Merab probably isn't better than a guy like Dom Cruz when it comes to MMA skill set as a whole. Cruz has a unique style, but eventually people were able to find patterns in his risky movements. Aljo can make mistakes entering range, but with Merab, it's very hard for people to pick up on any of those patterns because in my opinion, he's the closest thing to being unidentifiable as an MMA fighter. Like, I think he's a straight freestyle fighter. Now, shifting over to O'Malley, O'Malley's got to take some time to really focus on putting on some size and working on his defensive wrestling. It's clear as day that although his skinny frame as an MMA fighter certainly helps his striking, like, it's funny, I seen a graphic of someone commenting online about how being 6'4" and long is the the best build for MMA, and what they're saying is that being long is a great body type for MMA, and it is. However, it can damage you in the wrestling department. Petr Yan, who I think should get more credit for being an all-around MMA fighter, he's not a wrestler and he was able to consistently take O'Malley down. Yeah, he couldn't hold O'Malley down as well as Merab, but the process of him getting there had zero resistance. Even with Merab as well, especially when he gets his hands locked on a double leg, or if he gets a body lock into a trip, O'Malley just goes down way too easily, man. Like, there's a clear strength disadvantage that O'Malley has to deal with here, and I don't want to say he's small for this division because he's not, but I don't think he's optimal either. In order for him to realistically get a shot at the belt again, he's going to have to address this part of his game because Merab is likely going to stay as champ for as long as he wants, and the next most dangerous guy is Umar. Imagine the two most dangerous guys in your division being a Georgian real-life machine and a Dagestani, and you're one of the guys that can't really wrestle at the top. Like, real talk, honestly, when you think about it, man, there's a good chance that O'Malley may never get a shot back at the title unless some perfect opportunity falls into his lap like how it did with him and Petr Yan. Cause things like that can happen in the UFC. Certain matchups, certain fights at the top kind of clears a runway for somebody in like the top 6 through 10 to kind of like jump the line and get a title shot.